So are you starting it right now?
Apparently so. Going to do a commentary today on the film Memento with a couple of shitlords who've decided they would grace me with their presence. So we have Leon Gunstill and JT Vega. Uh, Leon, do you want to introduce yourself first?
What is going on on YouTube? I am Leon Gunstill.
JT?
And yes. Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How's it going? Tonight we're going to be watching Memento.
Indeed. So you better remember that. Terrible joke, but yes.
Starring some interesting actors like Christopher
Indeed.
Nolan.
Indeed it is. And I am Deus
No,
Ex.
not Christopher Nolan, just the writer.
Well,
Batman.
it does star him. It's all about him.
Oh, really?
No, I don't think so. But anyway, we can talk once again the film. So myself, I go by the handle Deus Ex, and I'm running this fucking show at the moment. So yeah, this is a DVD that I own, and I've watched this film quite a few times. It's one of my favourites. I like mind benders, and neither of you guys have seen this film, right?
Nope.
No, I have never seen this film.
So if you like that sort of thing, hopefully you'll be in for a treat, and you'll definitely enjoy this. So what I'm going to do throughout the video is basically I'm going to take screenshots of important key things I found with. Like, I've tried to watch other commentaries people have done, and I think it's because PAL versus NTSC, the rates work at a bit of different frame rates. So you try to synchronize the film. It's like, have I got the right version? I don't know. Blah blah blah. If you try to, someone's watching a theatrical cut versus director's cut or something like that. So having the occasional image of significance helps to do the synchronization as much as saying, all right, start at this fucking. You watch it, you try to start at the logo or whatever. It's like it never fucking works. So if anybody does come back to watch this, I'm gonna have screenshots throughout. You'll have some idea of how synchronized or desynchronized you are from the film. But also, it punches up the video a little bit, so it's not completely boring. And with all that said and done, I shall just begin. So enjoy.
All right. New Market presents
Dude, I don't even know if these guys are still around.
Summit Entertainment. Summit Entertainment was
Okay, so what year did this movie come out?
2000.
And yeah,
2000. Okay, this is
Yeah, it's a while ago now.
This is
Guy
Guy Pearce.
Good actor.
Yeah, he's done some shitty films though. Carrie Ann Moss and Joe Pantoliano.
You could be a good actor. You know who's a good actor that did shitty films? Nicolas Cage.
Well, obviously that's the thing. I reckon the reason why Carrie Ann Moss and Joe Pantoliano was in this is because they did The Matrix last year before it.
That's true.
Because The Matrix came out in '99. That was Trinity and Cypher were in that. So I was surprised when I saw this. Had Callum Keith Rennie in there. He was in Battlestar Galactica in the new one. He was one of the Cylons. He was also in an episode of Due South. I think it might have been a couple of episodes, but he was a replacement for Ray Vecchio. But my mind goes like it has all kinds of random fucking actor knowledge in there.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I just get a report. Apparently, JT, you have a bit of a bass sound, so I don't know if you can adjust anything on your end. But
let me see if I can.
It could just be your sexy voice, of course.
Audio. I lowered my computer audio so you don't hear that.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Let me lower the audio here. Based on a short story by Jonathan Nolan. Christopher Nolan. Directed by Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan.
Yep. So I was wrong. Sorry, guys.
That's right. Hopefully that's come out better. I've got my mole in the audience ready.
Like those cameras.
Yeah, they don't get those fucks anyway.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. I think it might just be. Hang on a second.
Okay.
I think it's just my fault, actually, not your fault. As far as the voice.
So where are you? You're in some motel room. You just wake up and you're in a motel room. There's the key. It feels like maybe it's just
Now
the first
these
time.
scenes are great, and I'll tell you, it's not really much of a spoiler,
For a
but
week, 3
it's
months,
all out of order. Is the way so it's got a non-linear narrative, just like Pulp
just an
Fiction.
anonymous
But there is actually a bonus on the DVD where there's a cut of the film that's done in sequential order. So a game for you guys to play is to figure out, what the order is in your head of each of these scenes.
I must have forgot.
Okay.
I've already told you about
So this is more like a psychological thriller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got because it's got some interesting things to think about as well, philosophically about the nature of
No
memory
raging guy said
and
we sound like we're talking through walls.
yeah, that's I adjusted I adjusted your the sound settings on my side. Hopefully you should sound better now, but I can't tell at the moment because
Alright.
you sound fine to me. So
Okay. I'll keep closer to my mic.
it might just be me routing the sound through Skype or whatever. I don't know. It's hard to tell on my end.
Does this sound okay?
Well, it
Yeah,
sounds fine to me. If it sounds fine to me, but apparently I'm the only one coming good on stream.
So where to,
But
Sherlock?
All right.
Yeah, I could talk
what
a
the
little
hell you
louder on my
wanna
mic if I have to.
You know it.
Yeah, it's just this fucked
we'll
up
wait for the
building.
report
I
from
don't
the
know.
gallery, as they say. Concentrate on the movie for the moment, and if I need to adjust anything, I'll do it.
Okay.
Joe Claudio always does that yeah thing every time in every freaking movie.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot he's from New Jersey.
Is he? I didn't know that.
Looks like somebody's home.
Yeah, he was born in Hoboken, New Jersey.
I guess that makes it when he did The Sopranos.
What are you talking about?
Pretty much makes
Yeah.
it perfect because he was a local basically because that's all New Jersey, isn't it? Basically.
Yeah,
I'm trying to see if I can.
yeah, that's the accent.
Let's take a look inside.
I'm assuming Christopher Nolan's
Alright.
hair color is
Yeah.
not that natural.
He's the one.
This is Guy Pearce. What?
I finally
Christopher Nolan's
Guy
hair.
Pearce.
That's Guy Pearce. You
Guy
fuck.
Pearce is.
Yeah,
no,
well,
I mean,
there
Guy
is.
Pearce is-
Yeah, he's not blonde naturally.
Let's go,
He's
huh?
brunette as far as I
Yeah.
can tell. Last time I checked, anyway.
Yeah.
for what you did. Beg forgiveness, and then you pay.
I gotta say one thing about movies at this time. For some reason, these thriller movies were better in the early 2000s.
Beg my wife's forgiveness.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure what it is with.
You don't know what's going on.
I think we're in a bad period of movies at the moment, anyway.
That's because you read it off a
Yeah.
fucking picture.
There's not very much stuff that's coming out. You can say, yeah, that was anything other. Oh, well, there's explosions or whatever. This is why I like, and I'm hopefully I'm planning to go through a couple of movies that I really like. I've got quite a large DVD collection. I look at it and I've realised either I'm just a massive old faggot because I haven't got that many newer films in it, or because I've got some really old shit. And I've got a lot of stuff from the 80s and 90s because that's like that's when you're growing up. That's when you get a lot of stuff from.
Yeah.
You know what?
Read religiously.
Or is it just am I just biased towards stuff from the period I was growing up, or has there really been a decline in movies?
Same here. You know what? You know a movie I like from the 90s, thriller movie? Broken Arrow.
Oh, that's more of an action film, I would say though.
Yeah. But still thriller.
Yeah, that was a bit silly, that one, but I remember seeing that in the cinema when it came out. But anyway, this is an important bit in the film, like the way he keeps track of his memories.
Remember Sammy Jenkins?
Yes.
Okay.
That comes up
Jenkins.
quite a bit. So definitely pay attention to anything talk about Sammy Jenkins.
Yeah. I believe there's a meme about this, the pictures.
Yeah, that sounds like. I mean, this is definitely a film
Don't
that would be.
trust him.
Yeah, this is definitely
Okay,
a film
I
that's
do. Me
worthy
and
for that.
JT do sound better now.
Okay, good. Okay, I might. In that case, assume everything's running fine. This is the thing. Leave everything alone once you got something set up. That's always a rule. So I'll just let it play out, and we'll enjoy watching a film at this point. So we're like 7 minutes in. Anybody you might want to synchronize and just enjoy, sit back, relax, enjoy. Drink alcohol if
Okay.
you have it available.
I'm Mr. Shelby from 304.
Right, what can I do for you, Leonard?
Oh, that's that guy from that one show.
Yeah, I can't think of who he is.
He's
Just
that.
that hairstyle though. Oh my god, that screams.
Yeah,
2000.
he was from that one TV show, The Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I
Yeah.
thought he's much older than that one, but then that came out like 8 years later after this film was
Yeah,
made.
that
Was it
came out-
Sons of
yeah,
Anarchy
that-
started in like
quite wild.
2007 or something? And he
Yeah,
was, he was one of the sons in this, in that. Oh god, I can't remember what his character's name is, but yeah, I know, I definitely remember him.
Yeah.
It's not Ron Perlman. That's about,
Yeah.
it's not Ron Perlman. That's what you can say.
He's not Ron Perlman, but he's
Yeah.
definitely, he
Yeah.
was they called him the Jew.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yes.
They called him the Jew. I was like, okay.
Gotta go check on dinner. Be right back.
Very well. I haven't seen much of Guy Pearce recently, actually thinking about it. So I wonder what he's doing these days.
He did Iron Man 3.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Iron Man 3 wasn't well received. They really fucked up the Mandarin. But yes, you're right. He was in fucking Iron Man 3. He was basically MODOK, but not MODOK.
Yeah, he was just the man. He said I am the Mandarin, and I'm like,
He should have been MODOK. If you're gonna do that, like have the Mandarin be
agree.
this, have the Mandarin be a silly football-loving addict, where the fuck he was supposed to be in that, and then he could be MODOK. End of the film, he ends up as a fat head in a robot flying chair.
I
Fuck it.
agree.
Fuck
I
it.
agree, but it's just
Come on, Marvel.
They put him as the Mandarin. It's like he doesn't look the part. And it's like they chose him out of everybody else. Like,
Come on, Hollywood,
should
diversity. What's wrong with hiring a fucking Asian actor to play the Asian villain, or is it something to do with the international markets and the fact that China will go, well, we got an Asian guy as a villain? I don't know.
I
Fuck knows.
kind of. Originally the Mandarin was like he's like a mixture of Asian and British.
Well, of course, British people are always evil. Guy Pearce is Australian, if I remember correctly, though. But he
From what I
kind
heard, he's like his mother's from New Zealand.
of I think I may be misremembering. I think he was in Neighbours, which, if you don't know, was a long-running soap opera, very popular in the UK. I think he was in that for a short time. But yeah, he's definitely a much better actor than a soap actor, as you say. But
Yeah.
but
He
I
has
think this,
that-
yeah,
He does have a perfectly good English accent, though. He's
Yes.
like, he can definitely play an American, and it's like you just be surprised by his positivity when he acts.
yeah. And this is the thing again. Sammy Jenkins coming up again here. Like and then the facts, because this is the thing you remember when you're watching this. This is the thing you get your head around it. Every time he's doing this kind of shit, or someone interrupts him, he's basically forgotten what he was paying attention to in the last couple of seconds, which is kind of hard.
A short-term memory.
Yeah, which is kind of hard as an audience member to remember. But it's like this. I mean, they do show it quite well in this film.
He left it at your table.
See, bits like this.
Lincoln Street? Oh, yeah, just go straight out on 6th Street. Go east all the way through town.
I was gonna write this down.
Oh, it's easy. Just go straight
Trust me, I need to write this down.
And yeah, part of how that works is little scenes like that where you go into the bathroom, you come out again. Obviously, you've been in the restaurant. You know you're in the restaurant. He comes out. You might as well have come out the fucking. You know that experience when you go through a door.
Yeah.
You go through something and then you completely forgot the reason you went into the room.
Yeah.
I think of it something a bit like that.
I think I've seen a film similar to this. They did a remake of it, but it was like an Indian remake of it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. The guy
What, like
actually-
a Bollywood film?
In this movie, it was about the guy had suffered from the same thing, and he had to take pictures and write down things, and it was similar to that, but they kind of did this kind of like dancing number and everything in that.
Oh yeah,
film.
well that's Bollywood for you. Everything's got to have dancing in it.
Yeah.
I
It was on Netflix last time I remembered, and they kind of showed it. and I was watching it, going like, I wonder what this is. And then I checked it out. I looked at it, and it actually had like violence and everything, but except the Bollywood kind of killed it for me. I was like, just. Ugh.
Yeah, that's like I say, it's Bollywood for you. Everything has to have a dance scene. Everything.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter whether it's appropriate at all.
Okay.
It's just part of the language. Oh, Leon, you're back.
Yeah. Just checking on dinner. Back.
That's fine. Yeah,
Chicken.
apparently there's a Bollywood version of this film, which is
Really?
yeah.
That would actually be interesting.
Interesting
Yeah,
is
it was like
it's not a strong enough a word, I think, to describe that situation.
Yeah, it's kind of
Bollywood.
weird though. But except it had a girl in it, so.
Well, they always do. The man dances
I'm gonna-
to,
you know
to
what?
capture the
And
woman.
he did have tattoos in that movie too.
The tattoos are good.
A little staticky on mine. I'm gonna look this movie up and give out some fun fact things.
Fair enough. Yeah, there's a lot of fucking tattoos.
Yeah, and this guy tattoos himself, right?
That's part of how he remembers the important facts, which is nice.
Yeah, it's definitely there is a remade version of it from India.
Oh, yeah. Starring, produced by. Okay, I'm gonna check and see what these producers have done besides this. Nothing to brag about. Okay,
Well,
yeah.
there was that one that was
Okay, associate producer worked on Lethal Weapon 2 and Predator 2. Nothing
Well,
to be proud about.
there was that one that went around a while ago, which was the was it like they had a Bollywood sort of Terminator which had some ridiculous shit in it? For that, but yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It's like Hollywood makes remakes of all kinds of shit across the world if it's popular.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised Memento.
Yeah.
I mean, Memento is a great film, but this is the thing, you guys haven't seen it before, and it's one of my favourites. But you know, that's one of those things, right? It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
you might.
John G. raped and
John
murdered
G.
my wife.
murdered my wife.
Yes, that's
John G.
yeah, that's basically his entire. It's basically his motivation, because, and I won't spoil anything, but I mean that's his big motivation for everything he does. So
Okay.
keep that in the back of your
Okay,
mind.
one of the producers, Suzanne Todd, produced movies such as Die Hard 2, Predator 2, a lot of twos in her thing, Lethal Weapon 2, all three Austin Power movies.
What this film? What was it?
Yeah,
Were you
yes.
saying this film?
One of the producers from this film.
Well, don't hold that against the film.
I'm not going to.
Or even her. She might have. I mean, everybody's got to do a job, right? Didn't necessarily.
Yeah,
It wasn't necessarily a choice, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Producers-
Better films.
I have a more graceful.
I mean, you have to be an executive producer to have any fucking say over anything. You're a producer. You're just a guy who makes sure the money keeps them flowing, right?
I just have it.
Yep.
Now I found out who the guy's name is. His name is Mark Boone Jr.
That's the
guy
one.
Who's the hotel.
That's the
Yeah,
one.
Mike-
That is the one. Yeah.
Not a reason.
He seems to be in every Christopher Nolan movie ever made.
Well, that's the thing, right? Christopher Nolan has, like, you see, most directors seem to have a little stable of actors that they end up working with, like the Coen brothers, for example.
Yeah.
It is also
They always George Clooney crops up a hell of a lot. I mean, you can tell George
Yeah.
George Clooney is a real movie guy himself, right? Like he's done directing and stuff, and he's starred in a lot of movies of all kinds of stuff, from Batman and Robin to like the Coen
Yeah.
brothers and shit, right? He's done all kinds of stuff. I mean, I always remember from ER. Oh, here, Trinity pops up here, so we got Trinity now,
I'm sorry, I should have
Yeah.
but not quite as much leather in this film.
Please call me Leonard. My wife called me Lenny.
In fact, she doesn't wear any leather, which is a disappointment for anyone who liked Trinity.
Yeah, but you see her face and everything, you realize that's probably his wife.
Is that what your little note
No,
says?
well, this is the thing you'll find out. Like,
Must be tough living
there's an
without
interesting
clothing,
scene that comes up
straps with
between
clothes.
these
You
two,
mix your laundry
which
list,
again
your
is
grocery list,
this
and
again
you
this is
leave
why I
it
like
all
this
over
film
the
because
place.
it fucks with you
I guess that's why you have
so
much
many
food.
so many levels. It just wants to fuck with your head. It's a
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
obviously like remember it reminds me a bit of Inception that came up. What was that? 2010, so 10 years after that.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan again
I
doing
do
all the
have
mind
food
fuck
for
shit.
you. You gave me a license plate.
Well,
Had my friend at DMV trace
luckily, he probably
Guess
saw
what
the
name
Neon
came up?
Genesis Evangelion movie.
it.
That
Gamble
with your mind.
John G.
Yeah.
Do you know him?
No.
Okay.
But his face on his driver's license looked really familiar. I think he's been in the bar, maybe.
This, you know what? So it's like it's not in chronological order. It's like you watch it partway
Are you
through the
sure?
movie and then the timeline basically.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what I'm taking from what I see.
I get yeah. It's like it's. I guess you're supposed to look at. I guess the intention and as far as the editing of putting the film together is that
Just because there are things
as a viewer, you're supposed to put together the puzzle the same way he's putting together the puzzle, right? Because remember, he's working short-term memory. He has to write down notes and tattoos and shit in order to remember stuff. And then he's only got a couple of seconds to put it all together because otherwise he loses all the information because he can't form the coherent memory. So I guess in a way that's kind of what they're trying to do with the non-linear story because in his mind it's all non-linear to him as well because he's only got
Yeah, and
little
that's
portions.
actually a good thing too.
I mean, it's not the same way that Tarantino used it in Pulp Fiction, right? That was for a completely different effect.
Yeah.
Because that's just having these different interleaving storylines, which I mean, you don't get as much jumping around. There's not a huge amount of jumping around in this. So that would be an interesting comparison to make. Like, what's the amount of time sort of jumping going on in Pulp Fiction versus this, where, as I say, I think it's beyond a stylistic choice. It's more a way of making the audience respond to the material, which I don't think is as much the emphasis in Pulp Fiction. I mean, it works. Everybody fucking loves that movie, but it's much easier to sort of unpack it in your mind, as it were, the order of things. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how I think about it. Yeah.
Yeah. It works.
Speaking of George Clooney earlier, that was Georgia Fox who popped up there for a second. She was an ER, if I remember correctly. Of course, George Clooney was a ER for a long time.
It's isolated.
Dr. Ross. I miss the early seasons of ER. It became shit after what Goose left Top Gun. I forgot his proper name. Anyway, whatever. It's not about this film.
Oh, you still staying at the
Yeah, Carrie Ann Moss has really come up in much since this. I can't think of anything she's fucking done after the Matrix movies.
Yeah, well, if you really think about it.
They treating you okay?
She did Jessica Jones, the TV shows on Netflix.
Right. Yeah, I've never seen that one, so.
We are both.
But not in.
A lot of people liked it.
Well, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I haven't seen it. But it's not a major movie. But then again, obviously these days, a lot of movie stars are going on to TV because TV's where a lot of the best drama stuff is going on. Like the retardation of the. Yeah, movies have become more retarded. Television's become more intelligent. So it's been a bit of a switch there.
Like when it comes down to it, when it comes to Marvel, their TV shows on Netflix are way better than their movies.
And this is an important bit here.
Remember Sammy
Okay.
Because we've already seen this. We already saw that.
Remember Sammy Jenkins.
And then again, these black and white phone calls are great.
It's a useful experience because now it's my life. When I meet someone, I don't know if I've met them before. I have to just look in their eyes and try and figure them out. My job taught me the best way to find out what someone knew is just let
He was a lawyer.
No, better than that.
Someone scratches their nose while they're talking. Experts will tell you it means they're lying. It really means they're nervous. People get nervous for all sorts of reasons. It's all about context. Yeah, I was good. Sammy was my first real challenge.
Yeah, that's... See, again, a tease, right? Because he is going to talk about Sammy, but I mean, that's the thing. Like I say, because there is a version of the film that's on the DVD, which is in sort of linear order, where basically all the scenes of the phone in black and white are all done in because it's basically all one phone call. But during the film, they all split it up.
Have I told you about Sammy?
So if you watch it all as one continuous
I'm
thing,
sick of hearing
then
about
you
the guy.
again, this is why I say I think part of the reason for them doing this is so you have to piece together the puzzle yourself.
That's why you haven't left town, am I right?
Maybe.
It's
Yeah, I
basically
can see what
it's a movie where you have to use your brain, basically.
Which is disgusting. I shouldn't have to use my brain when I'm watching a movie.
Oh, well, I go on facts.
Eh.
Well,
Modern day moviegoers never use their brains anyway because they still watch the crap
put
that
it
they
this way.
watch.
Remember Clue?
Yes.
Really, memory's not perfect. It's not even that
Clue was like the biggest example of a mystery movie that you just couldn't understand everything, but you had to understand what happened.
You don't get many films based on board games either.
I know.
Yeah, it's rare.
Next, it's gonna probably be Monopoly, and they're gonna try to make a movie about
Yeah,
Monopoly.
I mean, they've already done Wall Street and Wolf of Wall Street. I think that basically has it covered, doesn't it? Except for the guys aren't wearing top hats. I guess that's the only difference.
The game is simple. Because they already did Battleship.
Oh
Yeah,
God. Yep, that's the ultimate non-thinking man movie.
It's pretty amazing.
It's a
Battleship.
good movie. It's good special effects, but
It didn't really make it to the box office that well.
This is the thing. This makes you wonder what a movie. When I'm looking at this movie, I'm thinking about it. Right, given the amount of budgets you had those big budget ones for, this movie probably only cost 10 million, maybe at the most.
let me check. I'm gonna check the budget on it. Budget for it is $9 million. It made a $39 million box office.
There you go. I was basically on the money. And obviously, what Dark Knight would have been Nolan's biggest movie. That grossed something like $500 million or something, right?
Let me check. I'm gonna check his movies. Give me a second here. Filmmaking? No, I don't want to see filmmaking. I want to see Dark Knight. Where the hell is Dark Knight at?
But yeah,
There's Dark
oh,
Knight right there. No, Dark Knight. I know he did a couple Batman movies, but Dark Knight itself in 2008 grossed. It was $185 million and $185 million for budget, and box office was $1 billion.
There you go. Right, quite a big difference. But see, so this is quite a small movie, really. But obviously,
And his first Batman movie, it $150 million budget and a $374 million box office.
That's surprising. I didn't realise that. That obviously Batman Begins. I'm surprised that it cost more. Although I suppose when they I mean, it was 6 years. I think was it 2002, 2003? Batman Begins came out, and it was 2008. Obviously, that's a couple of years difference. But I don't know. Could they reuse assets? I don't know. I can't imagine you save a couple of million that way. But I just want to make a point because obviously this film is quite cheap, but I fucking love it. But you'll have to tell me whether you find it as engaging as I do. You know.
What?
We've not got a lot of big explosions or anything. Yeah.
You have to. It depends on. It's so many different things. It's cinematography. That's one of the biggest ones. Is cinematography. It's your special effect guys. If they could work on a shoestring budget and make good quality shit with the shoestring budget, like the guys from MythBusters could, yeah, I would hire them. And cinematography is the big one. And directing. You need to have all those things.
Well, yeah,
lighting, cinematography, directing, special effects. They all have to come together.
I mean, I'd be surprised if there are any special effects in this movie, to be fair. But I mean, obviously, I get the idea of big spectacle movies, which is obviously what nowadays is pretty much that's almost exclusively comic book movies at the moment are the big spectacle ones. You don't get much that isn't non-comic book movies. The only one I can think, Star Wars. That's pretty. You got Jupiter Ascending, which everyone thought was shit, but which had the Wachowskis, which leads back into the Matrix again, leads into Joe Pantoliano and Carrie-Anne Moss again. But apart from that, there hasn't really been anything outside of comic book movies that's really done well and been a big special effects driven movie. Apart from, as you say, Star Wars. But I haven't seen that one. Don't have much interest. It's like fuck
It's
anything that
not
wasn't
a
the
bad
first year.
movie. It's not a bad movie. They could have written it a little bit better. It was trying to take on A New Hope
That's-
way too much.
That's what I've heard from everyone. It's basically,
And I'm thinking, badass.
right. You never.
Yep.
The thing is, like, discussing Deadpool a while earlier. It's like that's one of the reasons why it works, because it's not the same shit you've seen before. Obviously, again, it's a
Yeah.
comic book movie, but it's different. Again, it makes you think. This is again why I love this movie. You watch it, and there isn't a second wasted of screen time on anything Australian.
Okay.
So this particular scene, obviously, he slept with her and he doesn't even fucking remember. Now, does that mean he was raped? That's the question.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go that way, but yeah,
Did you sleep okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You?
Alright. Okay.
Shit, me someplace.
I'm gonna
But-
look at all the Nolan films that he directed and see, like, his.
It's pretty
Give me
good.
1 second here.
It's useful.
we got to remember, was it his brother wrote it as well at the beginning? I think that was in the
I
credits,
should be
wasn't
able
it?
to talk to my friend.
Yeah.
So obviously,
Christopher Nolan. Christopher
Yeah.
Nolan.
Nice.
What I'm seeing right now,
Geez, license.
his earlier work, at least his earlier work, he doesn't have a deficit when it comes to box office budget to box office. He has like he makes almost like 3 or 4 times the amount with box office. This guy does.
the bean counters aren't going to complain about that. That's for certain.
No, but I mean that's how good the movie goes. Is that's how much trust people have in him. Like Inception, I'm not sure how good of a movie it was. I wasn't a big fan of it, but it made quite a bit of money.
I like
Very good.
Inception well enough. I think some of the movie analysis that's come out of it has been very interesting. Again, like for me, any movie that makes you think about shit is one that's worth
Yeah.
your time.
Just arrange a meeting now.
Interstellar. He also directed Interstellar.
I like that one
It
as
was
well.
a good movie. I was telling my mom about it. She went like, "Let's watch it." And she watched it and she actually enjoyed it. I mean, Interstellar was a good movie.
Yeah, you see that
Well, that's true.
this movie
Helping
like makes me think about you know, like the concept of memory and personhood and who you are as a person, all that kind of stuff. Interstellar made me think more about, you know, the Tesseract scene. It's like, because I understand the mathematical concept of Tesseract and see the way they rendered the Tesseract towards the end of the movie. I really like the way they did that, like the representation of how you would interact with a 5-dimensional space as a 4-dimensional being. I thought that was very interesting. I mean, if there's one failing of that movie, there was the idea that you'd have this fucking blight that would pretty much just stop all the crops in the world from growing as the impetus. But you know, that's a plot mechanic. You can forget about that. It doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever that such a thing could happen. But whatever. We need a reason for
Yeah,
people to go out into space.
But right now, out of all the movies Christopher Nolan's done, they've all been really successful. I mean, his first movie, The Following, which was in 1998, it almost made. Let me check here for a second. This is his second movie he ever directed. The first movie was it cost him $6,000. He made $240,000 in box office,
But I find something
American dollars, U.S. dollars.
Sammy should still be able to learn through repetition. It's how you learn stuff, like riding a bike. You just get better through practice. It's a completely different part of the brain from the short-term memory. So I have the doctors test Sammy's response to conditions.
Again, these phone calls are great.
That's it.
They're just fucking great.
Where were you guys when I did
Again,
my CPR?
again, it's just me because I got this bias towards anything that's like
Ta-da.
about psychology and stuff like that. I just find it fascinating.
What the fuck? It's a test, Sam. We'll test this quack.
Yeah,
The
it
best
is.
thrillers from the 90s is Seven, without a doubt.
They kept
According to
repeating the
Norwegian.
test, always with the same objects electrified. The
I don't
point
think it
was
holds up
to
as
see
well.
if Sammy could learn to avoid the electrified objects, not by memory, but by instinct.
Well,
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad film. It's just like I've watched it again since, was it 98, 97 it came out?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work the same for me now anymore.
Well, it's kind of true.
Well, I don't know how else to express it. That's, you know, so it's kind of hard to express why, but I don't know. I think, you know, some films have a particular style about them, which, I mean, I don't know. This film, I mean, you know, films have a style that sort of put them in a particular time period or decade of filmmaking. some films seem to be more timeless because of the way they're shot and so forth.
Yeah.
And I think it feels like Seven, the way it's shot and put together, feels like it feels dated to me.
I think someone's fucking with me.
But then you can have other films which
What?
have a similar thing and then they don't feel dated. So this film, I mean, I think it's again. I think it's easier for things that are
You have to burn them.
not trying to be so big and dramatic and just like world shattering. Things that are smaller movies tend to be more timeless, as it were. If you see what I'm saying,
Things you know for sure.
Such as.
because they're not trying to be so big. They're just trying to tell their story rather than worry about box office or any shit like that.
Certainties. It's the kind of memory you take for granted.
There's a lot of films right now. There's a lot of indie people that are approaching me with their films.
Right, excuse me for a minute. I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
She's gone. And the present is trivia, which I scribbled down as fucking notes.
Hey, come on, try and relax.
He scribbled down his fucking nuts.
Relax. You know?
Come on, take your jacket off. Didn't think you were the type. It's backwards. Come here. Come here. What about here?
Maybe it's for when I find him.
I've lost somebody too.
I'm sorry.
His name was Jimmy.
What happened to him?
He went to meet somebody. He never came back.
Who do you go to meet?
A guy called Teddy.
What do the police think?
They don't look too hard for guys like Jimmy. When you find this guy, this John G., what are you gonna do?
Kill him.
Maybe I can help you find him.
I don't even know how long she's been gone.
Okay, I'm back.
It's like I've woken up in bed and she's not here.
Didn't hear much discussion going on, but
She's gone to the bathroom.
Well,
obviously getting
The
engrossed in
film-
the film, which is the way it should be.
it's actually a very interesting film.
It certainly is. I mean, yeah, I definitely. I mean, obviously, doing this for the purposes of commentary, so
You just like listening to Guy Pearce talk.
it's true. I think I don't. Yeah, I don't think this movie would work without a. I mean, because he can be a bit of a. Because some of the actions he takes in this film, obviously motivated partially by you know.
His good looks.
No, I mean how he acts is. I mean, he's a sexy beast. Let's not pretend that Guy Pearce isn't a sexy beast. But I mean, part of the the character, his motivations, obviously driven by his disability, his inability to form new memories. And I think that was the thing that really drew me to that concept is the idea of basically being stuck in time. You're never able to develop as a person, and that theme comes out. I won't spoil it for you because that's basically the theme of the movie, and you'll see what consequences that has.
I think they were looking for Brad Pitt in this movie, thus the blonde hair.
Well, Brad Pitt's a decent actor, but I see what you're saying. I could see him doing this, but I don't know. You know, once you get attached to a film, you see somebody doing it, you think it's very hard. Oh, right, this guy could have done it better because then you already invest in the person who did do it.
But
I don't know.
They actually really decent actor.
Yeah, he's actually a pretty good actor from what I'm seeing so far.
I mean, he did some shit. He did the Time Machine. You know, the remake of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one.
God.
he was the hero in that one. If I remember, was it fucking Jeremy Irons was the blue bastard. I forget the name of those. Was it the underground people? I'm going to call them because I can't remember the fucking name of the race or whatever.
Mordox.
Mordox, that's the one. Thank you. Fucking remember that name. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot how they're called, but it's like.
But yeah.
Uh,
Actually, it's what I'm seeing so far. It's really well made for the budget that is. I mean, back then, a budget of $9 million was quite a bit.
Well, well, you considered it. So, have you guys seen The Room?
The Room. Oh.
Oh no.
Tommy
I've
White.
never seen
Yeah,
it.
but The Room came out in 2003. It was made with a budget of 6 million, approximately. We're not entirely sure, but I mean, it shows the difference between a competent and incompetent filmmaker, what they can do with money, right? Tommy Wiseau was an incompetent filmmaker. He couldn't do shit.
Just this, you fucking quack.
Christopher Nolan, on the other hand, he can produce a quality movie.
I mean, let me put it like this: George Lucas, when he brought back the prequels to Star Wars, a little fun fact here, he was given a $50 million budget on his first one. You know what he did? He was screwing it up. They almost had to go over budget. I think they did go over budget on the first one. I mean, $50 million.
Conditioning. Acting on instinct.
Well, you have to realize he used so much money on special effects. You know how much special effects cost back then?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, especially for what essentially is a special effects driven movie, when it comes down to it.
But I'm just saying, you make a shit movie and it costs $50 million. This one costs $9 million.
There are different ways in which you can make a shit movie. At the end of the day, this is kind of the annoyance, I suppose, that probably most people, without realizing it, have towards modern cinema, which is the fact that most of the cinema you're seeing now is not driven by story. It's driven by, oh right, you've got X characters in it, you've got these action set pieces, you know the actors, you know that sort of stuff. It's become more and more prominent. There's a lot less focus on story, right? At the end of the day, a good story will make you overlook any limitations of budgets or effects or anything like that, right? Because a good story gets you invested in the characters and it makes you care what happens. And if you care what happens, you don't give a fuck about whether the special effects are a bit wonky. But if you think the special effects are the reasons why people watch a movie, you might as well just do it at a fucking Universal Tours fucking like 4D experience, because that's what that's if it's just about special effects, do that, because that's something that's like a ride thing. If you want people to go on a ride, that's fine, but don't expect people to give a shit about it otherwise.
Well, special effects were more experimental at the time. Like if you've seen you've probably seen a lot of old films like War of the Worlds and such that were
the original one.
Special effects. Yeah, the original one. And,
I mean, that one still looks. I mean, to me, that one looks great. That's model work. You got some early effects, like Forbidden Planet had some similar sort of laser effects and stuff. I think all that shit looks great.
You know what's so funny nowadays? Like the type of movies they're trying to make, like series and stuff. They're just like, oh, hey, what's a popular book series teens like these days? Just Twilight.
Just point out for a second, the guy just came up, Callum Keith Rennie, I've screenshotted for. He was a Cylon, and he was also in Due South. So anyway, continue.
Yeah, but just look at all the movies of today, though. I mean, they're either it's going to be comic book movies or teen movies. They try to get book series now, and they're almost done.
We don't call them teens anymore. We call them young adults.
How the fuck did you get him up?
Young adults. Young adult movies.
The young adult books.
Yeah,
actually, I mean, you say that, but I mean, this is the thing when people say this. It's not like all of them are terrible. There are plenty of good ones, like anything else. I guess the other thing is, it's interesting that it's become a genre, because I don't know about you guys, but I remember when I was reading books, I read a lot of non-fiction. So This is one of the things I always had a problem with at school, because it's like, oh, well, you've got to read more fiction. It's like, I read more books. It's like, I do read books. Well, those are science books, but that's the shit that I was interested in, right? So those are the books I'd read. Right? I wasn't so interested in reading fiction books. Doesn't mean that there were some fiction books that I really enjoyed reading. Again, there's a theme, because the ones that I really enjoyed reading, things like 1984, they're ones that deal in ideas rather than necessarily people or plot. I'm not so interested in shit that's about a person X did Y or whatever, and get into their emotions and stuff. But this is why I enjoy films like this so much, because they're more, because obviously you care about the characters and you get into the characters, and the more you try to empathise with Guy Pearce's character, obviously, well, for me at least, you get more. Like the more you try to get into his mindset, and try to figure out what it is to live like this person who's got this severe disability of basically completely forgetting every like. Basically, try watching this movie 30 seconds and then go, right, I didn't see the last 30 seconds. You're going to find it impossible, right?
What do you do now?
You try to imagine that, and that for me is the core of it, because that's a great fucking idea that really makes you question what it is to be like. What are, like, one of those things, like, what are you? Are you you're just a summation of your previous memories? What happens if they get manipulated? What if the only way you can remember is through a series of photos with notes that you've jotted down, and you have to trust those notes and all that kind of shit? That's why I love this fucking movie.
I never said that Sammy was faking.
I mean,
Just his problem was mental, not physical.
Been a while.
But she couldn't understand.
Yeah, again, Sammy Jenkins comes up because he's the analogy towards his condition.
Sees this in person, and if it's not a physical problem, he should just.
Oh yeah, in case you didn't pick it up, he was an insurance guy, so his job was basically to figure out whether these guys are faking it or not.
I'm sorry. I'm trying. I'm sorry.
I mean, he's only got a few scenes, this guy. I don't know the actor who's playing Sammy Jenkins, but they've only got a few scenes where you even with that, that's when you know you've got a good movie. You've got a couple of scenes of like basically background characters, but you're still invested in what's going on with them, because it feels like a real relationship between the husband and wife. The wife is distraught because husband's had this accident. He can't really remember shit anymore, or what's going on, so you get invested into that.
So he has like a 10-second memory type of thing or something like that.
It's
it's temporary memory. I thought it was
temporary memory.
Yeah, he can't remember. It's the same thing as Guy Pearce. He can't remember new stuff. So he can remember all the previous events in his life, but he can't form new memories. That's where the Memento comes into
short-term memory.
It's not even short-term memory, because he has short-term memory. What he doesn't have is the ability. He can't form new long-term memories, right? So if you can't form long-term memories, this is what I was saying earlier about being stuck in time. In essence, so every time he comes back to, like, when you see him reading about John G. killed my wife, that's basically his start point, because he can never go forward from that point. He's always remembering that point in his life. Everything else is just, he reads the shit that he's written, and that's like, I'm up to date now. It's like if you imagine today, this is the last time you can remember anything, you'd be stuck on this day forever. And every day you went previously onwards, or went onwards from, you've always got to go, all right, so I know that it's not the time I was, because it's like waking up from a dream, right? I know it's not, I'm not in the dream, but I don't know where the fuck I am right now, because I can't remember anything that happened between then and the dream. So yeah, there is a bit of a dreamlike quality as well, if you look at it that way. And I think that the disjointed sort of editing helps to emphasise that, as it were, the non-linear narrative. And that's why it's interesting to. This is a difficult thing to me, because, like, as I say, you guys haven't watched this movie, and it would be interesting for me to, like, get people who haven't watched this movie before and watch it in the cuts that is in the narrative order. The only problem with that is it's like what you want to have some memory loss yourself, because then you want to be able to compare how somebody would react to this movie in order versus to the theatrical order. I have no idea how you'd achieve that, but I'd love to do that experiment and see how the fuck that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a message for Teddy. I'm at the Mount Crest Inn on 5th Street, room 6. I need you to come.
It would give a lot of insight, I think, into how people.
Thanks. Bye.
Like I say, Christopher Nolan, with what he did in Inception, again, it's a bit of an experiment in narrative. Like I say, Quentin Tarantino did the similar thing with Pulp Fiction. Again, he's another great filmmaker. He knows to put together a film, right? I imagine Pulp Fiction was probably low budget. I know that Reservoir Dogs was super low budget, which is why there's about 4 locations in that film. Most of which is the warehouse. That pretty much all it takes. But you can tell it's low budget. You get some suits, and that's basically half the budget. It's gone on the suits. So, but yeah, as you said earlier, that shows the difference between great filmmakers and like just really bad ones. Is what they can do with the money.
This is the term. It separates the men from the boys.
Okay.
You get work with low budget. That's the term.
Fair way of putting it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm chasing this guy.
Well, this actually gave him the chance to actually do a lot more movies. So.
Well, there you go. Right.
Yeah. Yep. Makes.
There we go. Now we hear this one.
Let's see again. Because yeah.
And there's a huge portion of the budget that car.
Yeah, they had to break a window.
God, white guys, Mount Creston on 5th Street.
That's the thing. Obviously, we're talking over it, and but you see, because you pick up on bits and pieces of this, which do because of the narrative, the bits that overlap with each other. So, like I say, when you see it, the in order version is very interesting. Like comparing it to the cinematic one, just like I say, but in particular, the fact that all the phone conversation scenes, the ones in black and white, all come in order. It does make you reassess what has happened in the previous film, which I really like. Because you could, obviously, if you saw this in the cinema in 2000, I guess, obviously what you're saying from what it earned, enough people did, but it wasn't like a super hit or anything. So, but yeah, you wouldn't have got to see. Yeah, it makes you wish you saw more, like I said, more shit like this. You know, just playing it up, playing with like the rules, as it were. There's not enough shit that does this interesting type of movie making.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, yeah, you said it was like a thriller, and yeah, it is a thriller. But there's also, I mean, at the moment he's doing a detective thing as well. Because that's basically who he is.
Trying to find out who killed his wife.
Yeah, because he's basically become a detective. I mean, you could. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing where you know. I mean,
now he has a bottle and he's ready to use as a weapon.
And then he completely forgets what the fuck he's doing.
Like, what am I doing? What am I supposed to do again?
Yeah, exactly. And there you go. And there, right there. That's where he completely forgets what the fuck was he doing, right? Just trying to imagine that situation. It's a mind fuck, right? Literally, because this is the thing. We don't have any problem like this. We go into a room, we get a bottle, and it's like, I'm going to hit a guy, and then you just look at it and go, what the fuck was I doing? Like I say, you get that equivalent, you go into a room, you don't know quite why you're there. But I mean, like, you remember after a bit, but
this guy, you can't escape it.
It's, yeah, kind of. Look at it like that. That's really the best way you can think of what's going on here.
Do I know this guy? He seems to know me.
Of course, he doesn't. At this point, he doesn't even know that he stole this fucking car. And if you're noticing carefully, of course, the windows are intact in this scene.
Yeah.
I like your car.
Thank you.
Where'd you get it?
Are you interested in buying one?
What, I made a strong enough impression on you?
I wouldn't be too hard on yourself.
And that's why the alarm sound comes up a lot at the DVD menu.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense. Again, I think the sound on this is really affected. The way the sound is used to accentuate the points of the movie. The sort of
it actually does make sense on the musical sound of it. It just makes it sound more.
There's a movie that tried taking this concept back in like 2002, 2003, I think. a paycheck. It took this concept almost where it was like where they actively wipe out his memory after he builds their device, and he's not trying to run for his freaking life. They basically took the concept of this movie, the point, not the whole complete like halfway in the movie, but
Yeah, I think I've heard of that one. I haven't seen it though.
it's actually a pretty good one, actually, if you ever have a chance.
Keep a lookout. As always do. There's too many movies, not enough time.
Yeah. But that's one of the ones I could see like this. It's more like an action thriller like this one. Or not like this one. It has a lot more budget to it, but it's not a bad one. I could say it like that.
It's like so many.
So I'm not sure what this whole burning shit scene is all about. But yeah, you got the wife again. Because presumably he remembers all this shit that he's burning, but he's not going to remember he's burning it, right? Because these are all sort of tokens of like his wife and all this shit, right? But you gotta think, right? So he's going to remember. He's not going to remember having burnt this shit. So what's he going to be like? Where the fuck's my wife's shit that I all had later on? But even then, how does
his wife was on CSI.
Yeah, she was. She was on CSI. She was in love with what's his name, William Petersburg.
Yeah.
And then she left because she couldn't fuck her boss basically. She went off to South America or some shit if I remember correctly. But that show was that fucking show started about 2000 I think as well.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, all this shit's been going on for far too long. There shouldn't be people who are old enough to watch this film. Apparently it's an R rating. I think that would be a 15 here. Actually, I've got the DVD. What does it say? Rated 15. Yeah, so rated 15. That's equivalent to American R. So there are people who were born at the time of this who are now just able to watch this. So, hello kids, if you're watching.
Yeah.
But
So
you
at
were
the
fucking...
age of 15, you can actually are allowed to watch this, right?
Yeah. So it's only about 15 years ago this came out, which is why I'm an old man and I should be put in a retirement home immediately.
Jeez, man, I should.
Now, the police report mentioned the drugs found in the car.
Again, he's doing his detective shit here.
Yeah, you're lucky. You're lucky. You're not showing like laser disc or something like that.
Well, nothing wrong with Laserdisc.
Yeah.
You can. I think that's the only way.
Laserdisc once.
I think that's anybody who's got a Laserdisc of the original Star Wars trilogy is laughing now because it's like I could watch this without all the bullshit.
Well, I do know one person who owns the Star Wars trilogy, and that happens to be Carnage guy. He actually has it. Even has the VCD version of it.
Go.
Lord Carnage, aka.
Oh, Mark, Classic Game Room Mark.
Yeah, Mark from Classic Game Room. Yeah, he talked about having the Laserdisc because you don't want the edited version.
Well, it does make me kind of wish I had the VHSs that I had from ages ago because, you know, I watch.
The problem with VHS is I can put this out with VHS. The problem with it is it wore out every time you watch it.
I mean,
the tape.
Well, my player's worn out before the tape did. I don't even have a player anymore. But the only thing for me is like, much the special edition, it's fine. Like you clean up the scenes, whatever, and then you see something and you go, "Oh my god, I don't want to see this. Get this fucking thing out of my face. It offends me." And the particular scenes, it's like when they go to Mos Eisley, I've got all this shit on my screen. I can't see what's going on because you've insisted on putting a fucking dinosaur in the frame, or you've got. Oh god, Jabba's Palace, the bit where they had the new songs. Oh my god, they're god awful songs, and you've got this god awful CGI character doing them. What is the fucking point? What is the fucking point? Anyway, he's remembering his wife died. Oh, this is an interesting thread that comes through. Don't know if you noticed that, because he just fucked this woman. Because he's trying to fuck his wife, but she's dead as shit, so he can't do that.
I'd like you to leave.
She's just casually snorting some coke in the bathroom of the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah. She just doesn't give a shit.
And they try to start this over. Just to tell the story.
There's something about the drugs stashed in the car that doesn't ring true for me. Because the police claim the guy was an addict needing money to score, which I think is bullshit, because he's not going to go breaking into places while he's still...
And this is a particularly good part of the phone conversation, so I won't ruin it.
Left it there.
I'll just let it play for a bit.
How do you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you remember the movie called
What did you do?
the Mortal Instruments? The
I've
Shadow
heard of it, but I
Hunters.
haven't seen it. I know what you're talking about.
It
It was based on a book, if I remember.
Yeah, it's based on a book, and now they have a TV series.
Now we're getting somewhere. Discounted.
Yeah.
Which I have a feeling they're gonna go all Buffy the Vampire Slayer on this one.
Yep.
God knows that was a movie, and now it's a TV series.
And that's
Yeah.
why I don't Joss Whedon.
Yeah, Josh Whedon of all people.
Joss, yeah.
Yeah.
Sensitive Joss Whedon.
Sensitive Josh Whedon, yes.
Yes.
We use
And now
SJW for
he's-
short.
I
and
don't
you're,
really consider him. I don't really consider him after that one movie because it's like everyone got upset over his movie.
Well, I didn't
now
get
he-
upset over it.
And now he's trying to set everything up right there. He's trying to set everything up so he can remember, I bet. Like,
Yep.
what the hell am I doing? Oh, what's that map?
Well, this is the thing.
Now he's
Basically,
buying
Okay.
himself
Fine.
an escort.
well, this is the thing. This is the thing that you basically, when you watch it in order,
The discount in?
this is basically gone back in time again. But it all makes. I feel this is what they've done really well.
Well,
Whoever edited this, I don't. This is the thing I'm wondering about when you do this sort of stuff again with Pulp Fiction. Do you write it as, because Pulp Fiction is basically 3 different stories put together, right? So do you
Yeah.
write it as 3 different stories and then sort of edit the bits and narrative around it, and basically film it as a sequential movie and then edit it into the non-linear form that you want, or do you write it in the non-linear fashion? That's what I'm not sure about. I would guess it'd be easier to write it in the linear fashion and then edit it in the non-linear sort of narrative.
should I wear it?
No. You know, just like you took it off.
It's very hard to know what they would choose. I guess I'd probably say like I would do it the linear filming, but I'd have an idea of how I wanted to then take the scenes and
I can see what this guy's trying to do here.
Yeah, I can see it too.
It's
Well-
like he's trying to pay this woman to basically be his dead wife.
yeah, but there's a bit more going on to it, which is it's not so much because part of his pain is that because he can't form new memories, he's hoping, and that's actually part of his motivation. He's hoping that he'll be able to remember something new. So that's one of his motivations for trying to find his wife's killer, which comes up later, and you'll see exactly where that comes up. So he's trying to remember stuff because he can't remember stuff, and he's hoping something strong enough to remember. Well, actually, this is what they're talking about now with Sammy Jenkins again. So again, thematically, it all filters in very well. This is why it is, like I say, very well edited together.
Yeah, and he's remembering the family, and that's the weird part about it.
You know all about Sammy and
The
you
couple.
decide that he's faking.
Mrs. Jenkins, the company's position isn't that Sammy's faking anything, just that his condition can't be shown to be
I
fake.
just want to know what your honest opinion about Sammy is.
We shouldn't even be talking.
And this is a good scene because he's doing the insurance man thing.
Then why are you here?
Try to understand. When I look at Sammy, I don't see some vegetable. I see my same old Sammy.
I think it's interesting because this woman gives the outside perspective on, like somebody who, because obviously in this thing his wife is dead, right? So everybody he basically interacts with from this point onwards is a stranger to him. To him, obviously, he can't remember anyone he
He can't
knew, so they're
trust
always
anybody.
they're all strangers to him. But also they didn't know him before, because
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of an odd thing that I guess you could say, all right, why didn't he have any friends or anybody around? But you know, like forget that shit. It doesn't matter. You might as well just assume his wife is the only person he knew. But that's why the scene with Sammy Jenkins' wife works, because obviously Sammy Jenkins has got the same thing, but she remembers everything about him, but she can't see him in the same way because Sammy can't remember anything new, and she's like, she can't deal with it. It's like, how the fuck do you live with somebody like this? And she goes away, like, because he just said, well, there's nothing physical that should stop him from doing it, but he didn't actually know. But
She had one to believe.
Drug dealer.
and that's the other thing. When because he keeps getting these new tattoos, so you're waking up and you got these fucking bandages and the new tattoos. So again, trying to keep track of that shit as well.
You, Teddy, your buddy. Prove it. Sammy. Remember Sammy? You told me about Sammy.
You told me about Sammy.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing in my car?
What? Your sense of humor went with the memory? Do you even know why you're here?
Voice.
Unfinished business.
Yeah, you gotta love Joe Pantoliano.
Your business here is very much finished.
Yeah.
You're still here because of Natalie.
He always does that
Schmuck,
crazy
who the
voice
fuck
of
is it
his.
you just walked out?
Indeed.
Oh, that's right. Take a look at your pictures. I bet you got one of her. Oh, nice shot, Leibowitz. You'll want to make a note. You can't trust her.
Oh yeah, why's that?
Because by now she's taken a look at this suit and the car, and she's starting to figure out ways of turning the situation to her advantage.
Yeah, because she's
already got you
basically a bit
staying
of a
with her,
bitch,
for
but
fuck's sakes. You can't go
you
back
kind of
in.
see that
Can
later.
you give me the name of a motel? You're lucky I ran into you. Bro, it's bad news.
What do you mean, bad news?
Involved with drugs. All right, look, these. You see these? This is the bar where she works. Her boyfriend's a drug dealer. She takes orders for him, arranges meets. He writes messages on the back of these. Then she slips him the answers when she serves him his drinks.
Why should I care?
Because when she gets jammed up, she's going to use you to protect herself.
From who?
Guys are going to want to know what happened to her boyfriend. Guys are going to come after her.
See,
Somebody's gotta pay
this is the
them.
thing. That's why he
Somebody
has the
always
car,
pays. Maybe
basically.
she'll make it you.
Oh yeah? Well, maybe she'll make it you.
Because you notice he's living in a motel. It's like, where the fuck does he get all this
No.
money from?
Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yep.
she doesn't know who I am.
Why are you following me?
Maybe I want to help. She doesn't know anything about your investigation, okay, Einstein? So write this down. When she offers to help, it'll be for her own reasons. I'm not lying. Take my pen. Write this down. Do not trust her.
This is important coming up as well.
There. You happy now?
I won't be happy until you leave town.
See the way he wrote it. You notice
You ever
that?
wonder how long you can hang around here
Yeah.
before people start asking questions?
What sort of question?
It's kind of
The
his
same
way of
question you should
saying.
be asking yourself.
What?
Again, this
Like,
is
how did
you
you
could
get
say
this
this is a
suit,
plot
the
hole, right?
car?
I have money.
How
Oh,
could you
no.
remember that he's doing a different
What's the
style
line?
of writing in order to know which notes to trust and which he's just using to fake
So
out
in your
someone?
grief, you
But again,
wanted
it's one of
to
those things you have to
resent
ignore in order to enjoy the movie. But
Yeah, he
it
does
is a
it in
fault.
cursive. The other one he does in
You
straight.
don't know
Yeah,
who you are.
but that is one of the problems.
I remember
It,
everything right up until
basically,
the
it's one of the core
Cell
problems. It's like,
and from San
how the
Francisco.
fuck does he know he has a system?
You do
He
not
says
know
you gotta
who you
you gotta
are.
come up with a system, but
Once
how
you
the fuck does he
become
know he has a system
The incident.
that he has to follow, and how the fuck
Yeah.
does he know how to follow it?
I'm a detective.
But it's one of those
You don't
things,
even
like I
know how
say,
long
you just
ago
have
it
to
was.
accept, because otherwise the film could not work
Let me
at
put it
all.
this way. Were
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
Not that that couldn't be an interesting film, but you know, sometimes it's one of the things. I think the difference between a good film and a bad film is a bad film has stuff that you question, and it's just a bad film, and a good film has stuff you question, and you go, I'm just gonna ignore that because it's a great film,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't care because I'm enjoying myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just realize
Do not trust
he's
her.
got a clue. Don't trust her.
Don't believe his lies.
Mm-hmm.
Don't trust her. Don't believe his. Oh yeah, this thing.
Again, it's a thing. Trying to imagine yourself in the position is a complete mind fuck, to say the least.
And he keeps going to these inns every time.
Well, it's the same
No,
one.
she's gonna give
That's
me
the
that
thing.
responsibility.
It is the same one.
I'm a claims investigator, not a doctor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there's a
guess.
scene coming up which
I've
kind
got
of
supervisor
explains that as
situations.
well. The fact that it is the same in.
Legal responsibility, large finance.
Never answer the phone.
And that's a great. I love the musical cue. That's just great. Because it completely fucking creeps you out as the audience member as well. Because you've just been casually listening to his phone conversations. Go, oh, that's nice. It's interesting. I'm hearing a bit about it. You're going, oh shit. He shouldn't even be fucking doing that.
He gave away his information.
And this is a great bit as well.
What happened?
What does it look like? He beat the shit out of me.
Because when you will again, I can't spoil. This is the thing you haven't seen. You can't spoil it. But
Why? Because of you?
the fact that he was scrabbling for a pen was important.
Tell him about Daddy. Great fucking idea.
Calm down. Take it easy. You're safe. It's okay. Come on. Just sit down. Sit down. Here, sit down.
Yeah, and I realized where that meme came from. Everybody kept showing
What?
that
I am
meme
not.
around.
I haven't seen this. If it was a Memento meme, I would have remembered. I would have remembered. You see,
the whole don't trust John Kelly thing. That
oh
whole,
right, was that a thing? I haven't seen that, but don't
seen
believe
the
his
thing,
lies.
And there was like a Polaroid that someone did. Don't trust.
Well,
don't trust him.
Okay,
Like that.
if somebody went to the effort of photoshopping the tattoo so it said John K killed my wife, then I could respect that. But if you haven't gone to that effort, then I'm not interested.
What did he say?
John K. Actually, it would be John K.
I was going to say something, but then I realised that would spoil the end of the movie, so I'm not going to say it. But it will make you'll know the joke I was going to say by the time we get to that point. So I won't say any more because I'm very tempted to keep on spoiling shit in this movie.
I'll give him some bruises of his own and tell him to look for that.
Because again, it is one of these movies you need to watch more than once to get everything. Which again is a kind of thing that I really like. Yeah,
I had to watch Neon Genesis Evangelion. That one was like made in 1995, actually 96 if that was correct.
Quake came out that year.
You just tell me what it looks like.
Or 97, I don't know. It was kind of it was like one of those. It was like one of those anime movies that you just couldn't understand what the heck they were doing in that movie. And you had to get the idea of what that movie was. It was basically it had some symbolism. It had psychological craziness, horror. It just you just couldn't understand it.
Just write it all down.
Well, I've been discussing a lot of people. The other thing, of course, being that if it's something from a different culture, it just adds a layer of complexity to the whole process of trying to ingest it as well.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll be fine.
It's just make me wonder, what sort of movie. I mean, I don't have fucking Japanese subtitles for this shit or whatever, but how well will the Japanese audience do it? There we go. Come back. Right, full circle again. And this is the thing, when you go further along the film, it does keep you sort of the narrative jumps, they get closer together, so you can see a bit of they're trying to build up a bit of intensity, because obviously we started off with him going, what the fuck are you doing, to what's his name, Joe Pantoliano, and it comes back to it again, so it keeps a forward momentum whilst also still fucking up with the time framing. And we got this again with Trinity coming back into the scene.
Calls himself Dodd.
What does he want?
Wants to know what happened to Jimmy and his money. He thinks I have it. He thinks I took it.
Oh, well, did you?
No.
And again, literally, we saw the setup for this like 4 minutes ago.
You're just blissfully ignorant, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know all about your fucking condition, Leonard. Probably know more about it than you do. You don't have a fucking clue about anything else.
What happened?
What happened is that Jimmy went to meet some guy named Teddy. He took a lot of money with him and he never came back. Jimmy's partners think I set him up. I don't know if you know this, Teddy, or how well.
Neither do I.
Don't protect him.
I'm not.
Help me.
How?
Get rid of Dodd for me.
What?
Kill him. I'll pay you.
What do you think I am? I'm not gonna kill someone for money.
What then? Love? What would you kill for? Kill for your wife, wouldn't you?
That's different.
Not to me. I wasn't fucking married to her.
Hey, don't talk about my wife.
I can talk about whoever the fuck I want. I can say whatever I want, and you won't remember. I could call your wife a fucking whore, and we can still be friends.
Calm down.
Easy for you to
Yeah,
say.
this is an important conversation.
Take it easy. This has nothing to do with me.
Well, maybe it does. How the fuck would you know? You don't know a fucking thing. can't get scared, but hey, can you get angry?
Yes.
Oh, you pathetic piece of shit. I can say whatever the fuck I want, and you won't have a fucking clue, you fucking retard.
Shut your mouth.
You know what? I'm gonna use you. I'm telling you now because I'm gonna enjoy it so much more if I know that you could stop me. If
See,
you
he's
weren't such a fucking
scrambling
freak.
because he
Did you lose
can't,
your pen?
because he
Well,
knows
that's too
damn
bad,
well.
freak.
But
Otherwise,
through
you
this
could write yourself a little
conversation,
note about how much Natalie
she's
hates your retarded guts,
basically
but I called
explaining
you
exactly
like
how
what?
she's
Don't
gonna
say
fuck him
that.
over,
About your
and we know
horrible
now
life.
because we've already seen it pretty much. But you have to put it together after this point where she said she's gonna do it.
You know what one of the causes of short-term memory loss is? Venereal disease. Maybe your cunt of a fucking wife sucked one too many diseased cocks and turned you into a fucking retard. You sad freak. I could say whatever the fuck I want, and you won't remember. We'll still be best friends. Or maybe
Even lovers. Again, you see,
I'll see you soon.
it's the thing about the way it edited together. I don't know. You got this is why it's good to watch this someone else scene. But as soon as you see this happens, if you remember the previous scenes and you've been paying attention to the movie, then suddenly it fits into place because obviously she's just leaving and he's concentrating,
Keep it in mind. Keep it in mind.
and he knows where the pens are, and he's going to go for the pens, and she's just sitting there because she knows exactly what's going on with him.
Write this down. Write this down. Exactly what happened.
And then,
Exactly
if you remember correctly, you know exactly which scene
Jeez, come on.
this starts with when it ends, which is going to end in about a second.
Keep it in mind. Come on, find a pen. Write this down. Write down what happened. Write it down. Write it down. Come on, concentrate. Keep it in mind. Find a pen.
She was very abusive.
But again, he doesn't have a fucking clue. And there we go. That's a repetition of an earlier scene there.
Shit out of me. Who? Fuck Leonard. Dodd beat the shit out of me.
And there we go. Straight back in.
Now I hear something. Nice. Now I see what happened. Start again.
Yeah, as I say.
Said different.
Yeah, as I say, you get the pieces of the story in the beginning of the film, and as it goes on, you get more and more. It gets, like I say, it gets a bit more intense that way. I think it's very interesting the way the film, the narrative tension comes more from how it builds up the connections. So you get bits of overlapping stuff like what we just saw there, and that's how it builds the tension. So yeah, we're talking about Pulp Fiction earlier, and like Pulp Fiction really doesn't use the non-linear narrative in that way. It's more of just a way of sort of it's more like a comic book anthology where shit interleaves rather than it building into a cohesive whole. But in this case, the non-linear storytelling kind of accentuates the bits where you go, when you just saw that scene, you go, fuck, this bitch is manipulating him. She's going to fuck him over. She does fuck him over. You already know what the fuck's going to happen. And then you see it again. And it's like, no, don't do it, you fucking idiot. But it's already too late. You already know what the outcome is. Because you've already seen it. Because you know, here we go. He's fucked her. He's already fucked her. We already know that. But there you go.
Yep.
We already knew. And then you tie that in together. And that already happened like half an hour ago or something.
Yeah, like it's totally different. Tells a different story, but it tells a different alternate way.
That's an interesting way of saying it, like an alternate way of telling the story.
It's a good.
And yeah, this is kind of an important scene where, like, you're seeing him. This is, I believe, this is where he's supposed to get the brain injury, where with his wife being assailed.
Yeah, where his loss of memory came from.
Yeah.
Because he suffered from a concussion, thus having trauma to saving his wife, and his wife was.
But I'm not entirely sure about this, just because of the way the other things fit together later. It's again, I can't spoil it, but you do wonder how. You do wonder, like, again, it will come. How is he remembering this stuff? Is this the last thing he remembered? You don't know. It's
Probably, or it could happen, or it happened to her.
yeah. This is where it all gets. Again, this is where because it forces you to ask these interesting questions. That's why I like it, because I mean, a movie that makes you discuss things, important things, ideas. Those are the kind of things that I really enjoy. It doesn't hurt that it's well paced, well acted, and has a kind of creepy soundtrack.
You have some food. Whatever you want. Okay, make yourself
Okay,
at
back.
home.
Yeah.
You're back.
Yeah. Dinner's done, and I'm gonna finish watch this with you guys.
There we go. Yeah, as you were saying earlier, we don't really have Polaroids anymore, so I don't know how this fucking work now.
I know they.
But that's kind of
Never
like a
called-
blast of the past, though, because that's where you could almost take an instant photo for the longest time was from a Polaroid like that. That's how you could do it. I mean, like, even digital cameras sometimes didn't have the back screen. We could just like, oh,
Yeah.
look at this.
But you notice
now
that
we
this
just plot
guy
our
playing
phones
VCR
and put these cameras to shames and just like
and an old
take pictures.
television.
Oh yeah.
Well, you got to remember this is 2000. Things are still being released on VHS at this time. Fuck, Memento's
That's
probably
true.
got a VHS version.
They didn't really have flat screens available around that time. They weren't readily available.
They would have been prohibitively expensive.
Well, they
Yes.
did have like LED TVs.
Yeah, but they would have cost
Yeah.
like 10 grand.
That's
Oh
true.
yeah, they cost an arm
I
and a leg,
remember.
and you had to sell your soul to the devil.
Well, that's cheap. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
cold hard cash I'm more worried about.
True.
And this is a great photograph as well. That plays in later as well. So remember that one. I remember we go back again because obviously remember we had the beer coaster from the bar, so we went to the bar.
Oh, you really do have a problem.
Mhm.
Just like that cop said. Your condition.
Well, nobody's perfect.
What's the last
Lady,
thing
you're gonna screw him over.
that you do remember?
Yeah, exactly. That's how because you don't know what.
Dying.
I think that's a good way of doing the sort of non-linear storytelling. Is that you know certain points that come up to it, but you don't know what exactly they are. It just takes a drink away, and you find out in a couple of minutes exactly why she does that.
Why are you calling me? What do you want? I know you're a cop, but what do you want? Have I done something wrong?
And I think it's more effective the non-linear way as well. I mean, you see, like I say, there is a linear version which you can watch.
You wouldn't believe me anyway. Because of my
And
condition, you don't believe someone with this condition?
we were talking about Star Wars a bit earlier, actually, and the whole existence, the prequels, raises an interesting question because obviously, for the prequels all being about fucking Anakin, there is no secret whatsoever that
No,
Anakin is.
they just
Anakin's-
released a sequel.
Well, no, I mean as in from the prequels. I mean the like forget about number 7. We're talking just about the first 6.
What do you want?
When they did the
The first
sequels,
We can't
and when they
just have
did
someone dressed like that
when they
in
did the
public.
sequel, the prequels, and they had Anakin Skywalker.
Natalie.
Right. Well,
Well,
there's no
that's
fucking secret whatsoever that Luke Skywalker is Anakin Skywalker's son.
Then why am I here?
I
So
don't know. Why don't you tell me?
at that point, it becomes a problem because if you watch it in a linear order, right,
How do you know about
the
me?
reveal in Empire means
My
absolutely
boyfriend told me
fuck all
about you.
because they already
Who's
knew
your boyfriend?
that Luke was
Jimmy
Vader's
Grace,
father.
you know him?
Now, and so
He knows you. Told me
So,
about you. Said you were staying at the discount.
if it was made in chronological order, that scene would have had no
So you're looking
impact
for a guy who
whatsoever.
can't remember anything, wouldn't know how he got
Well,
here or
here's
what
the
he
thing
done.
that bothered me about that the prequels from episode 1. They started off with a young kid,
Are
a
you-
very young kid.
No.
Nobody likes kids.
Did Teddy send you?
I know, and yet they started off with a young kid who basically was in slavery, and it's like he's like how old? Like 9 or 10 years old?
I think he was 8, the kid at the time.
Yeah, he was 8 years old, and the strange part is that he was hitting on Queen Amidala, which
She's
is like
supposed to be 14, I think. Yeah.
She was 14, and then several years later, they basically made him like about 16 or 18 in that movie. Am I correct?
Yeah, basically.
So how
this
old was he when he conceded to have a child?
Hang on, go back to say it, but yeah, this is the important bit where the patron spits in the drink, and you understand exactly what happened like a minute ago. And again, this is why I say it works. This is why it works, because like I say, as the film progresses, you realise that towards the beginning of the film, the sort of jumps between forward and backwards in time are longer, and they're getting closer together at this point. But then towards the end, it all goes back to the beginning again. So you've got a bit of a twisty loop. And there he goes on the house. He's drinking it. Same thing as we came back into it again, looping over. Great stuff.
Oh, it's amazing what a little brain damage will do for you.
But yeah, as you say. No, I just wanted to make sure you got that, because again, this is one of the reasons why the film works. But as I say, that's why I brought it up with how the reason why I made the analogy, because this is exactly how it wouldn't work. The Darth Vader reveal in Empire would not work if you already fucking knew that information. It has if you already know it beforehand, it doesn't have the same impact. Which is one of the reasons to have exactly, which is one of the reasons why you need to have a non-linear storytelling, as it were. Assuming that the prequels existed, you'd actually have to edit it in such a way that like similar to this, you'd actually have to have it such that you see portions of the original trilogy first, and then you see bits of the prequels, like as a backstory, etc. Because I mean, stylistically it wouldn't work, because I mean, they look shiny but they're crap. But whatever. But
my understanding of it is like it was the fall of a young boy.
Oh, this actually, I'm going to interrupt you again, because fuck Star Wars. The important, this is really good. This bit.
It's time for my shot.
Okay.
Because this really sort of emphasizes the situation. Because she's a diabetic, which I know. I'm a diabetic as well.
I thought you'd call his bluff.
Oh, the old-fashioned needle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, fortunately I don't have those fuckers. But she keeps them winding. Yeah. She keeps on winding the clock back, so that he keeps on thinking it's time for ejection.
Sammy, it's time for my shot.
Because all she wants is for him to remember.
It won't hurt.
And I know, if you have enough insulin, you're gonna go in a fucking coma. So yeah,
that's unhealthy.
It's not unhealthy. You'll be dead.
Yeah, it's not good for your health.
So he also suffers from short-term memory.
Unless you eat 200 pounds of sugar, you'll be dead.
But yeah, this is Sammy Jenkins, man. I've explained this to you before. Fuck, you need some fucking mementos yourself, by the sound of it. You haven't been paying attention to the important plot points at all.
Me?
Yeah.
No, me.
You've been paying attention.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, there we go. You see, that's the analogy.
I know. She did it like not once but twice.
It's like 4 times or so.
I was wrong about Sammy, and I was wrong about his wife. She wasn't interested in the money. She just needed to understand his problem. His brain didn't respond to conditioning, but he wasn't a con man. And when she looked into his eyes, she thought he could be the same person. When I looked into his eyes, I thought I saw recognition. Now I know you fake it. If you think you're supposed to.
That's the important point. He's talking about faking recognition.
Pat on the head from the doctors. You bluff it to seem less.
Yeah, he had a neurological problem.
But he didn't. It's not like he didn't know how people reacted. So he, because I imagine we could probably all think of situations where you've pretended to understand something or to know somebody that you didn't actually have a fucking clue. just because it's like, oh well, that's a social thing to do. Like you're in a new environment or something, people you don't know, you're just gonna pretend that you know shit, even though you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Lenny, how you doing?
It's private back here.
It's okay. We know each other.
I think this is the only scene we see him getting a professional tattoo. The rest of him, like he did his own needle shit as well.
Plenty of tattoo parlors up north.
Well, I guess I just wanted to get something down before it slipped my mind.
All right, then give me the keys. I'll move it for you.
It'll be all right for a minute.
Wait out there.
Look, give me a minute. I gotta get something for you.
Fact 6, car license SG137IU.
Damn.
Give me a minute, will you?
Or was it Prison Break? That one had the ridiculous tattoos on it, right?
Why?
Oh, man.
The map.
How many
Yeah.
times I gotta tell you? It's not safe for you to hang around here anymore.
Why not?
Because the cop's looking for you. Now I gotta get you a new identity, some new clothes, a different car would do for now. So put these on.
Whoa, whoa. What cop?
He's a bad cop. He's the one that checked you into the discount head. He's been calling you for days now, telling you shit, slipping envelopes on your door, shit like that.
How do you know this?
He told me. He thinks it's funny. He's been laughing at you.
You're full of shit.
No, I'm not. He knows you're no good on the phone, so he's been calling you up. Sometimes you don't answer the phone, so he slips shit under your door to scare you into answering
I
the
don't
phone.
think it's actually
You know, line of
it's
crap about
explicitly
giant
put,
chippies
but
and
I'm
local
pretty
drug
sure it is
Jimmy
him who's
Krantz.
doing this, if I remember correctly.
Who's Jimmy?
No.
But obviously he could just say
He's
that
the
straight
drug
out
dealer.
because he knows
Wants
he's
to
not gonna
know how
fucking
his
remember.
operations run. He's got some score in mind. Somehow you're involved.
How do you know him?
I'm a snitch. He's a cop from out of town.
Yeah, he's basically making all
Pacino
this
was
shit up
helping
at
you
this
to
point.
fucking kill me. So
No.
take these clothes, put them on.
But I still get confused, even watch the movie. I still get confused by it. I think that's a good movie, one that you can like something like this. You watch it, you're still like, I'm not quite sure what's going on, even though you should really know because you fucking watched the entire thing several times.
Daddy.
Teddy.
Don't believe his lies. No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah.
Goodbye after, Natalie.
But then again, we know he doesn't.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got one that he burnt, which we did actually see earlier, if I remember correctly. I can't remember if we see him burn it. But that's the other thing. It's like, right. So if your new memories are basically all on photographs and little notes, and you burn a photograph or a note, then you've basically burnt. You've literally got rid of part of your memory, and you've consciously decided to do that, right? It's not like you forgot something and it's not really in your control. You've chosen to get rid of that memory.
Yep.
Hey, Jimmy.
Which is an interesting question as to, would you choose to do it? If you could, would you choose to burn part of your memory?
Sorry.
It's a really horrible memory, maybe, but
But then again, that's the thing, isn't it? It for him, that would have been part of. I mean, the only way he could be like, in a limited sense, the only way he can ever progress in his memory is by, putting these little mementos around of what happened in the past. But for us, it comes completely naturally. Now, we could all see for this film exactly what happens to somebody who cannot form new memories. But look at another way. What happens if you delete portions of your own memory? You edit your own memory, as it were. And that actually comes up later in the film, I think. I think there's a kind of a film of like being able to edit your memory as well. Like by burning stuff, he's basically editing his memory. So if you're able to self-edit your memory, consciously self-edit, there are some implications there as well, which I think the film is going into, which can be a little disturbing. But like I say, I don't want to spoil it too much again, but something to keep in mind, I think, for the latter. How long we got? We only got like 15 minutes or so, but I think everything I've been talking about, you should all see to come together.
I gotta say it like this with these movies. The final 15 minutes are the best parts.
Yes.
Because this is where everything comes crashing together.
Yes, and I like I say, everything I've been saying, hopefully, you should all see it come together, and that's my hope anyway. And yeah, it's kind of tricky when you see how it works as like this, because I've watched it, you two haven't, so it's very very enjoyable for me to sort of like help somebody through it. It can be difficult, But
Over here.
If I wasn't listening to you, I would have lost track of what the hell was going on.
well, there we
I
are.
watched it like 5 times over
Noted
again.
officer or Lieutenant Cameron?
You know what? Don't write that yet. Teddy.
Why?
I'm undercover.
Here we go. Yeah. I hope you
That's
caught that. He said,
This is the
don't write John
directions, where he's
Gamble,
going.
write Teddy.
My number's on the bottom if you need me. You're not coming? Nah, it wouldn't be appropriate.
Because now you know this is basically their first meeting.
Hey, thanks. I look thin.
And like I say, it would come back round to beginning
Oh,
again
honey.
towards the end of the film.
Make him beg.
I don't know who did the music for this, but it is the perfect sort of ambiance music. It sets the tone very well.
Yeah.
There's nothing bombastic about it. It's all very subdued or kind of, I wouldn't say creepy so much. It makes you, I mean, slightly creepy. I'm not sure the best way to describe it, but it does. For me, it puts me in the sort of right sort of, you know, if you're like on like mind-altering psychoactive substances, that's the kind of thing I would say. It's like basically you should never watch this on LSD because you'd be completely fucked at that point. You would not know what the hell's going on. It's like you've already distorted your mind enough by the time you've done that. So this would be the worst film ever to try and watch on acid. You wouldn't have a fucking clue. You'd be destroyed.
Teddy!
Jimmy.
I do like the way they do the cuts
What are
as
you
well
doing
between him
Jimmy
and his
Grant?
memories of the wife.
Expecting any other Jimmys out here, memory man?
Do you remember me?
Yeah, I remember you. Where the fuck's Teddy? Well,
And that's the other thing, because he's just supposed to be a normal guy, but I mean, he beats the shit out of quite a lot of people in this film, and he does it with efficiency.
mistake, pal.
But this is how he gets his. This is how he.
Don't say anything else.
This is the thing. This is how he gets the suit.
Fuck!
Take off.
Which, when you know he gets, this is how he gets the fucking suit and shirt. Obviously, plays back into all the previous scenes. If you've been paying attention, which I have made you pay attention, so you do recognise it now.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait,
Yeah.
wait,
Yeah,
wait,
I've
wait,
been
wait.
hearing
Did he tell you
you've
where
been talking
we're
about
taking
this the whole
fucking
time.
pants
I
out?
just never really got the suit.
$200,000 stashed in the car.
There
Just
we go.
take it.
What?
Just take it.
You think you can bargain with me?
Just take the money and walk away.
I don't want your fucking money.
Then what? What do you want from me?
I want my fucking life back!
That's the thing. He wants his life back. He can never have it ever.
Yeah.
And that's what all the.
That's where he had his scratch from.
Yeah. That's why you get all the intercuts of his wife and the death and stuff, because that's basically what it's going. That's the only thing he can relate to at all at this point. He's got, because this is the thing, it's like, you can't form any new memories. What are you going to do? You can only hang
There's
on
the
to.
Polaroid right there.
Yeah.
And the beginning, it was showing it going backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
There goes the suit. Now I get it.
Yeah, exactly. This is what's great about it. Like you say, exactly what you said. Like the last 15 minutes pulls it all together. And it is one of these movies you need to pay attention. But yeah, it's a satisfying experience. Satisfying. There's not so many movies that give me this anymore. Most of them are big dumb action. Not that I've got anything against that, but I like my big dumb action with a little bit of interesting shit got thrown in there for good measure. Like RoboCop or Total Recall. That's why I enjoy it so much. They got a lot of big dumb action, but they've also got interesting shit going on. This one has got a lot of interesting shit. It's also got some not too bad action a few fight scenes. There's a bit of gunplay. It's kind of like the opposite mix, as it were. But as we discussed earlier, obviously the budget of this film is quite low for what it's set out.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of movies that can go low budget
But yeah, as we're discussing, low budget is no indicator of quality. It's just an indicator of what they've got to work with. I mean, it's just a case of when you know how much money they're playing around with, you know what kind of film they're going to fucking be able to produce. It's not going to be an effect-laden extravaganza.
Yeah, especially when you have to hire a really good editor, and I could see that they hired a really good editor for this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as I say, I was wondering earlier, like, how much this film was created in the script, how much in editing. Because as I say, there is a narrative in order version, which means somebody had to edit that version out.
I don't remember. I have this condition.
I hope it's not as serious as his, because this guy's dead.
Ow! Lenny! That shit kills!
So you remember me now, huh? You are a fucking cop.
Yeah! And I'm the guy to help you find him.
Get up. Get up.
And this is the big payoff.
Who is that? He knew me.
Of course he did. He raped your wife. He fucked up your brain.
Bullshit. He's not the guy.
His name is James F. Grant. John G. Check your tattoos.
What was he bringing the 200 grand for?
What?
What was it for?
A load of amphetamines I told him I had.
Is this a drug deal?
No. Yeah, that and your thing. Look, Leonard, Jimmy's your guy. I just figured we'd make a few dollars on the side.
How did he know me?
The discount end. He dealt out of there. The guy at the front desk let him know if anybody came snooping around. He called Jimmy the minute he saw you taking a picture of the dump.
You're fucking using me.
Well, that's the other thing. It's like Teddy probably was using him, and he made a mistake in doing that.
Everybody will listen. Remember Sammy Jacobs? Remember Sammy Jacobs? Great story. Gets better every time you tell it.
And yeah, this is the big
You lie
bit.
to yourself to be happy. There's nothing wrong with that. We all do it. Who cares if there's a few little details you'd rather not remember?
This is the other. Again, this turns into a plot hole when you think about it. So you don't think about it, but listen to it is great.
Her not believing your condition, the torment and pain and anguish tearing her up inside. The insulin.
That's Sammy, not me. I told you about Sammy.
Yeah, right. Like you tell yourself over and over again. Conditioning yourself to remember. Learning through repetition.
Sammy let his wife kill herself. Sammy ended up in an institution.
Sammy was a con man. A faker.
I never said that Sammy was faking.
Exposed him for what he was. A fraud.
But I was wrong. That's the whole point. See, Sammy's wife came to me.
Sammy didn't have a wife. It was your wife who had diabetes.
I was married to Guy Pearce, so I admit it.
Ouch.
Damn.
Yep.
My wife wasn't diabetic.
You sure?
Ooh.
Yep, you see?
Ouch.
She wasn't diabetic. Think I don't know my own wife? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, I guess I can only make you remember the things you want to be true. Like old Jimmy down there.
He's not the right guy.
He was to you.
That's the thing, like I say.
Come on, you got your revenge. Enjoy it while you still remember.
What
difference does it make
this
whether he was your
portion,
guy or not?
like about the selected memory, I'm not sure how much that works, but it is very nicely done. Narrative
You won't
works very
remember.
well.
Done, I will know. It'll be different.
Well, I thought so too. In fact, I was sure of it, but you didn't. That's right. The real John G. I helped you find him over a year ago. He's already dead.
Don't lie to me anymore.
Look, Lenny. I was the cop assigned to your wife's case. I believed you. I thought you deserved a chance for revenge. I'm the one that helped you find the other guy in your bathroom that night. The guy that cracked your skull and fucked your wife. We found him. You killed him. But you didn't remember. So I helped you.
And this is
Start looking again.
M. Night Shyamalan. This is how you do a twist, by the way.
Oh, yeah? Who was it?
Matt
Just some
Shyamalan,
guy.
learn.
Doesn't even matter.
Shyamalan Ding
No
Dong.
reason, Lenny. No conspiracy.
Yeah, you
just
should have
bad
just checked
fucking
his driver's
luck.
license.
Couple of junkies too strong.
What a
to realize
twist.
your wife didn't live
Yeah,
long.
the Sixth Sense came out like
But
what,
when you proved it,
99?
I was so convinced.
This is the year before
you
this.
remember.
But this is, I mean, this is so much
But it
better way to
didn't
do a
stick.
fucking twist.
Like nothing ever sticks. Like this won't stick.
And remember, you saw this photograph before,
I took that picture.
and that's him.
Just
Supposedly after
look
he
how happy you are.
killed the guy who actually killed
Wanna
his
see that
wife.
Face again.
Not that we know that for certain, of course.
Fuck you. I gave you a reason
Oh,
to live,
that's that
and you were more
photograph
than
is.
happy to help.
Yeah.
I was wondering what that was.
Exactly. You see how it all ties in
You
together.
make up your own
right?
truth,
Yeah.
like your police file. It was complete when I gave it.
That was just like a weird photograph, and I was like, "What the hell was that?"
No, it wasn't.
Now we
See,
know.
It was you.
Yeah, this is the thing. Because he does. I think they made it look like he is younger in that as well. Like you're not quite sure how long this has been going on for either.
Your name's Teddy.
My mother calls me Teddy.
Which adds a bit of extra creep factor. Because you don't really know how long he's been in this state for.
Plenty of John G's for us to find.
Because again, think about it, right? We're watching like maybe a week or so of his life, but he could have been going. Like you said, he already said like he found him a year ago, so God knows how long he could have actually been going through this shit.
A sense of purpose to your life.
Yeah.
Because you remember a year ago he found the actual John G.
I should kill you.
It could have been a year since he actually got the fucking problem.
That's why you're so good at it.
He could have been doing this for fucking 2 years, 3 years. God knows how long he could have been doing this shit without being able to form new memories. But then, yeah, the decision he makes, like, it contrasts this with the earlier scene with Trinity. Because this is where, like, the ability to change your memory becomes interesting.
I'm just someone who wanted to make things right. Can I just let myself forget what you told me?
Comes.
And he put 2 and 2 together.
Well, there's the point. No, he chose. This is the thing. This is a version of him that really chose. He knew the truth at this point, but he chose not to. And yeah, I won't say anymore because this is really where it comes. Yeah, he's making a decision, but he's not going to remember the decision he made. He won't remember. He can't remember it. This is where it's all so fucked up and brilliant.
You think I just want another puzzle to solve? Another John G to look for?
And there's the license plate number.
You're John G. So you can be my John G.
I think he unconsciously wants to kill this guy.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. And he's set it up, so you then have to question every other fucking thing that he's done previously. Because this is the thing. When we're looking at it, you want to see one character, but really, if you think of it as a series of completely disjointed characters who have no idea what the other one's doing, yet believe implicitly what each other one has done.
You know, I think I'd rather be mistaken for a dead guy than a killer.
Then basically, you could almost see it as this character we're currently watching is basically set up his future self to kill off the person he wants to be dead, without having any understanding of why he's doing it.
Yeah, and the money was in that car the whole time.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah. He's basically set up, and again, he's on the fucking highway. He doesn't have a fucking clue at this point.
I believe that my actions still have meaning,
Yeah.
even if I can't remember them.
There it is.
The world still
Remember
is.
Sammy Jenkins.
But he can't. That's the irony. He can't remember Sammy Jenkins because he doesn't know that he is Sammy Jenkins.
That's actually perfect. Damn.
I know. Yeah. I mean, like I say, I've watched this film quite a few times, and you realise this. So I almost feel like saying he can't remember Sammy Jenkins is kind of a spoiler in some ways. And there he is. He's a tattoo parlor. But in some way, you could say, of course, he shouldn't have stopped like that because he didn't know he had a fact to record. But anyway, that's the end of the film. So, yeah, as I say, great film. I'll just pause it there.
It is. It's actually a really well
Yeah.
put together film. And I got to give credit to Nolan on this one. This is like the first real big one he did.
I think that was
the
the associate producer you were talking about earlier. Was that the one?
Emma
Thomas. There you go.
I think that was her, but I think it was Emma Thomas.
But
You might say
Emma,
that.
you might have worked on some crap, but you did all right with this one. So
Oh yeah,
won't hold
she
it against
did a
you.
lot of crap, but you know what?
Yeah, this movie
You know
was
what?
actually okay.
You know what? She could be proud of this movie right there because
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's actually Emma Thomas did a lot of crap in her day, but she did a lot of twos, like a lot of sequels.
Sequels are evil.
Yep, Predator, yeah, stuff like that.
But yeah, anyway, last thoughts or anything you want to say?
My thoughts are is I actually kind of like the movie. I wasn't here the complete time because I had to cook dinner, but the parts I did see,
Well, you see, that's perfect because you should be able to empathize more with the character because you didn't see parts
basically.
of it. You've got missing portions of your memory.
Yeah, my apologies. I had dinner. I had chicken in the oven, so I had to check that quite a bit.
Are you sure it's chicken? Did you take a photograph of it? Are you sure that you were the one cooking the chicken? You can't be sure then. That's the point.
I'm not
How
a
do you
hipster,
know?
that's why. Yeah, but I actually I enjoyed the movie. It reminds me a lot of I mean it does remind me of Pulp Fiction, but also reminds me of that 2003 movie Paycheck. It reminds me of that too. If you ever have a chance to look
like I say, I'll have to check it out now. But yeah.
What are your thoughts, JT? I think it was a pretty good movie. It was a decent movie for its time, and it's just a shame that it could have been a contender with other movies, but this was actually a pretty good thriller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, certainly you won't see many thrillers in this style of basically your protagonist isn't really able to put the threads together as himself. I don't know how else you can analyze it. Like I mean, obviously some of the bits are black and white, so obviously you think film noir. Like if you're thinking detective stories, like you feel the thing about the film noir, where you got the detective who's, you've got the dame who was murdered. He's on the case. He's trying to figure out what's going on. He's like a private eye. You can see all that analogizes towards what's going on in the film, right? You've got the police officer. You've got the love interest, it's Trinity. You've got obviously his dead wife, but that might as well be any old broad, as it were, who he's doing the case on. But yeah, I know what you say. Yeah, I mean, would you call it a psychological thriller? I mean, there's not many movies I can think of where the protagonist, because usually you're supposed to empathize with the protagonist. It's actually very difficult. I mean, yeah, emotionally, I think you can empathize with everything the protagonist is going through emotionally, but obviously, at every point during the film, the protagonist knows less than whatever you do, because or at least you should realize that. But I think if you don't, when Christopher Nolan, like with Inception, I've read a lot of stuff about that was his way of basically talking about film through the metaphor of dream,
that
right?
was Inception.
So
it was a good movie. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was a really good movie.
Well,
that was one I could never catch. I could never really get, and that was a good part about it. Is I never got it. It was like it always messed with my mind every 5 seconds.
I think the thing is, I think that Inception is basically his big budget version of Memento.
Yes.
I think he wanted to do, because as you said, we said it was about $30 million. No, $10 million for this, and then it earned about $38 million, right?
$9 million.
$9 million earned about 38 or something. So
yeah, 39.7 million.
Yeah, comparing it to Inception, which must have cost like 50 million at least, and probably rates in about $500 million or so. I'm gonna guess. Right. So I'm thinking that basically Inception in some ways was basically his big budget Memento, because Christopher Nolan, he probably would have loved to have done this.
160 million and it grossed 825 million.
There you go.
160 budget, 825 box office. That's
as you'd say, that's an order of magnitude greater.
That right there proves that the suits could trust him.
Yeah,
because it's not like Hideo Kojima where he puts a lot of money into it and he's very wasteful with money. I mean, he's a good game maker and stuff like that, but Christopher Nolan does good job on a budget, and that's what doesn't make the suits panic, because you could spend a lot of money on a movie. You could spend a high spend like $500 million on a movie and barely make $50 million on box office.
Yeah. And like I said,
Like
again,
Battleship.
the only thing I can think of is like Inception. I think really was. It has. You can see what I'm saying about like it has similar themes as far as like the nature of reality, what is real, what is not real. Although of course you assume in that film they're all remembering things as they are, but you got to remember half the film they're spending the time in the dream world and all that sort of shit. And one of the things about dreams being that you don't really remember them in a linear fashion. And what's going on in this film? Well, the film is not in a linear fashion. You don't. It's like if you were trying to remember a dream, that's kind of what would be going on in this film, I think. Which is why I'd relate them together, because I think this film you could definitely relate a lot to Inception. Obviously, Inception is a much better known film because it is bigger budget. Obviously, Christopher Nolan established by Batman at this point and all that big budget stuff. But it's always good to look back. You can tell a quality filmmaker, as I said earlier, by the fact that what he was able to achieve with a much smaller budget.
And he's done this so many times. He's made it. Christopher Nolan's made a habit of doing good movies. He's made a habit of doing this stuff.
Indeed. So, I don't know if you guys got anything else to say. Otherwise, I'll shut down the stream in a little bit. Unless you got any big comments.
I think we pretty much said what we had to say about this. Other than that, it was an okay movie for its time. Even though it was made back in 2000, it was the beginning of filmmaking as we know it that started to improve a little bit.
I would say
that. Even though we had like lots of bad films from back in the from the 90s to 2000.
It's like LJ. You know what it is like today? It's like LJ and the video game company went from making video games to making movies. That's how it feels like. It feels like video games got more approved and movies got shittier.
I'm not sure I understand. Are you saying it's a good movie or a shit movie? I'm getting my wires crossed.
No, I'm saying this is a good movie. I'm just talking movies later on. This is a good movie.
You're going to have to explain then, okay, because I'm not sure I follow the analogy there.
No, I'm talking about movies that are... JT was basically saying movies... This is like the beginning of movies that are being good. I mean, yeah, the production value of the movies are getting better, but I'm just saying the quality of the movies aren't getting
right.
really
I think
better.
so. There's more money, but there's not necessarily like I said earlier. Like you've got to ground it in a good story that's engaging, that people can give a shit about. Now I don't know how well. I mean, as I said, I've said it many times, right? I fucking love this movie. I don't know how well it. Obviously, you guys like it as well. But like the general movie going public, how would they respond to it? That's the question, right? Because that's what the execs and the suits are thinking about.
Well, let's put it this way: there was a lot of good movies back then that came out. Like right now, Memento made it at number 8 at the on the IMDb site. It's at number 8.
What overall for all movies?
In overall movies in 2000.
Oh, just in 2000.
Film released in 2000.
Can you tell me what? Could you tell me what were the other ones on that list? I'm curious now.
Start from one.
Number one was Gladiator.
You see, that's kind of a standard action movie.
Number 2 was Requiem for a Dream. Number 3 was Remember the Titans.
That's a movie about football, isn't it? Remember the Titans?
Yeah, American football movie.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit.
Number 4 was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which
that's
they
a
did
good
release
movie.
Another one. I didn't like the new one that they brought out for Netflix. Number 5, American Psycho was number 5.
That was the Christian Bale one, which is pretty good.
Number 6 is X-Men.
Yep, which is that's a comic book movie. Obviously, we talked a bit about that earlier, but obviously they dominate. I mean, I imagine if you go on in time looking at the top movies, you're going to have like comic book ones dominating. But anyway, go on.
Number 7 is Snatch for 2.
Yep, that's a good film. Guy Ritchie when he was able to make decent films. Well,
Yeah.
I'm
Memento
surprised.
was number 8.
I'm surprised it came up that high, given most of his films are pretty good. I didn't Gladiator at the top is kind of it's not. I'm not saying it's a bad film. Just saying it's kind of standard. There's nothing really special about Gladiator. But
there's another
anyway,
Kind
one
of like a run-of-the-mill action movie.
Yeah.
Good guy, bad guy.
Number
Good guy
9
kills
is
bad guy at the ending.
number 9 is The Beach.
oh,
Okay.
that's not too bad.
DiCaprio.
Yeah, that's not too bad. That one. What's 10 then? To round out the number 10.
Last one, number 10 will be Bring It On.
Oh, isn't that some fucking high school cheerleading shit? How the fuck is that in there?
God.
How the
and that
fuck?
starred Kristen Dunst.
How the fuck is that in there? How the fuck is that anywhere there? Could somebody burn IMDb to the ground?
How is that even in the category?
My God.
Of this.
Because a lot of people liked Elijah Dushku.
Right. Okay. Okay.
I'm not kidding.
Okay. This is
Back
how.
then,
Okay.
Elijah Dushku was a hot actress.
Okay. On that bombshell, this is something that end the stream, which is everybody you saw Bring It On.
I'm sorry.
Everybody you saw Bring It On.
That's
you need
what
to
they gave me.
just fucking kill yourselves right now. Anybody who saw Bring It On. You put that in number 10. You put that 2 places behind Memento, right? Memento should be a lot fucking higher on that list. It should be getting because the stench of that movie is infecting Memento now for me. Thank you very much, you pieces of shit. All right. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, I'm at this point. I'm just gonna say thanks to JT and Leon, and thank you very much for coming on, guys. Hopefully, we'll do this shit again some point because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've got my DVD shelf is looking fairly full. I've got plenty of other shit if you're interested in doing this again.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah, just let me know what it is ahead of time so I could get.
No, I'm going to surprise
together,
you.
Like a couple days ahead of time, so I could get some look for the movie and watch it.
No. The point is, I'm going to surprise you, motherfucker. I'm going to surprise.
Okay.
I'll walk up behind you.
We're gonna pull the mystery of what movie he's gonna show us.
That's the way it should be.
All the movies from 1996 to 2000. I
Look,
guess.
Look.
I can watch a movie from the 80s or the 50s if I have to.
We'll see. We'll see. See the next time I can bother this. But anyway, for now, if JT, do you want to say a final closing statement?
Yes.
Yes, that's your final closing statement.
I think Gladiator was an okay movie. X-Men should have been at number 2.
That's reasonable. Leon, what's your final thoughts?
I think I've never really seen Gladiator, and that one cheerleading movie. I agree with you. It's rubbish.
Well, there we go. Just final thing to say again. Thank you very much for joining me. Again, hope to see you again. Hopefully, I'll do this again at some point soon in the future. It's been a lot of fun. Movies, they're great. Obviously, it's movies. You watch them, you should enjoy them. You should have something that challenges your mind. This is a movie that challenges your mind. Everybody who hasn't seen this movie properly, go and fucking watch it. I'm going to chill the fuck out of this. Christopher Nolan, you can hit me up later. Give me my royalties for hitting up your movie from 16 years later. Anyway, have a good night, everyone, and enjoy yourselves.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Later.